Okay, so this is take 2, full disclosure, of a video that I'm trying to make. But in the first video, I said the F word so many times. I shouted the F word because I'm sitting here seething in feminist rage, and it was practically unshareable. So there is a law being put forth in the great state of Texas that I'm from that is set to criminalize abortion, any woman seeking an abortion, to the point where she would then be eligible for the death penalty. It's horseshit. If you know me, if you know anything about New Wave Feminists, you know that we believe in restorative justice, not horseshit like this. Evidently, I'm just replacing the F word with horseshit now, which is fine. Still better. Move in the right direction. The idea behind this bill, though, is that, again, the pro-life bill would put women to death for seeking abortions. And I can't even begin to tell you how anti-woman this bill is, because when you read through, there's a state rep here who's put this forth named Douchebag Tenderholt or something. His explanation, he's this ultra-right anti-abortion activist. Everything in his argument for why this bill needs to go forward is that women need to be responsible for their sexuality, because evidently this is fucking Jurassic Park, where women are getting themselves pregnant and then driving themselves to the abortion clinics and performing abortions on themselves. That's what you would be led to believe by the fact that we are going to criminally charge and prosecute women for having abortions in the state of Texas. I am as pro-life as they come. I believe in the human dignity of the unborn person. I believe that there are two people involved in this equation, the woman and the child, and they both deserve protection. The problem, as most of us know because we're human beings with brains and hearts, is that women are often not the ones who are making this decision alone. Oftentimes, they are coerced, they are pressured, they are driven to the abortion clinic by their boyfriend, their partner, their spouse, their parents, who then pay for this abortion. But of course, we have to remember, it's still the woman's fault because she didn't keep her legs closed, right? Tenderholt. The fact that this bill was put forth by a group called AHA makes it all the more egregious. The fact that AHA has anyone's ear in Texas Congress is horrifying, because I have to tell you about this group. They protested in front of my son's school a couple years back. I decided to pull over and talk to them. They like to use those big graphic images, which, I mean, quite honestly, are triggering for a lot of people. Post-abortive women, women who have experienced miscarriages, people who are facing crisis pregnancies right now and don't know what to do. That is not a safe person that they're going to go up and talk to. So I decided I would go up and talk to them. I walked up to two older gentlemen who, I actually recorded the conversation. I have it on the New Wave Feminist page. I can share it at some point. They are such a fringe, extreme group when it comes to pro-life movements. They are completely religious fanatics. So this is not something that has anything to do with even just ending abortion. This is Jesus saving you through this group, hating women. Somehow that's supposed to work out. I don't know about that. Their rhetoric is disgusting and vile. Any of the women who are involved in their group proclaim themselves, if they've had abortions, as murderers. So that tells you something about them. They are very adamant that they are murderers. They murdered their children. And that is a part of participating in this group, is not redemption, not healing, not getting through this very hard decision you ever had to make, and actually being compassionate and having a heart towards women who find themselves facing an abortion decision. Instead, these women come out guns blazing. We are murderers. You're a murderer too. This is how we're going to change the culture, is by getting women to admit that they're murderers. Obviously, I disagree with that tactic. Beyond that, though, I got out and I started talking to this man, and I said, okay, so say you have a pregnant high school girl who comes out and needs your help. What are you going to do for her? Do you know the local resources we have in the Dallas area? And I remember this man clearly saying, well, no, I would take her with me, and I would take her back to my home, and my family's there, and we could help her, and we could get her plugged into our church in Red Oak, which is like 45 minutes from Dallas. And I said, no. What resources do you know that are available here? Because I know all of them. There's plenty of resources available here. But because these people are such extreme Christian fanatics, they will not send a woman to any type of resource center that is not affiliated with their particular brand of crazy. And so instead, this older gentleman is going to usher a teenage girl into his car. I'm assuming it's a van because he looked like a van type dude, and take her 45 minutes away to get help. So that's batshit crazy. This is the group now that is influencing Texas legislation. They have really cool graphics. A lot of pro-lifers get sucked up in their page because they have these cool graphics and they seem bold and edgy. But what you have to understand is they're completely bonkers. The fact that they are influencing any type of legislation, I'm not shocked at all that this is the legislation they would have, because I believe so many pro-life groups are so focused on women and have such a heart for women. But it's assholes like this that literally hate women, like there's something seething inside of them that hate women, that it would make complete sense for them to link up with this Tinderholt guy who, when I was reading the HuffPo article with his comments in it, were all about the woman's responsibility, that she's being too loose with her lady vagina, and so we have to punish her for her promiscuity. Like, never mention the male once, never mention the fact that it takes two people to create a child, never mention the industry that's preying on her or the society that's telling her she's too weak and she has to have this abortion. We know women seeking abortion are often doing it because of financial constraints. We know that oftentimes they are a second victim when it comes to abortion because they are pressured into making this horrific decision. Rather than addressing that, though, we're going to lock them up and potentially give them the death penalty. So I just want to say, fuck everybody who supports this bill. That's ridiculous. Thank you so much for setting the movement back. There are multiple reasons that this bill is absolutely atrocious. One being the fact that it's completely unenforceable. It's completely anti-woman because, again, like I said, it doesn't focus on anyone else in this equation other than the woman. It is not something that would ever happen without a civil war breaking out, but what is going to happen is Huffington Post is going to be able to post articles and write articles that have headlines like, Texas looks to send women who have sought abortions to death row. That's what gets to happen. It gets to move our movement backwards because it's extreme fanatic bullshit. It is not something that the mass amount of people in the pro-life movement would support in any way, shape, or form. Thankfully, Representative Jeff Leach came out and said that it makes him incredibly uncomfortable. It should, Jeff Leach. It should make you uncomfortable because you are actually pro-life. And killing women for killing their children is not pro-life. So thank you for being a decent human being and standing up against this bill, even as a pro-life conservative in Texas legislature. You get it. Other people need to get it. Be bold. Stand against this bill. Everything about this bill is utter horseshit. There, 3 times, third time's the charm. I'm just so angry. I'm so angry that this is even something that is being considered by anyone with a brain in Texas. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe these people are completely brainless. For once, I actually agree with the pro-choice side that this is beyond insane. This is not the way that we help women who are seeking abortions. This is why we believe in restorative justice. This is why you don't take a drug addict and send them to prison where they can become better criminals for doing something that does nothing more than hurt their own body. You send them to rehab. You rehabilitate them. You help them. You get to the root of the problem of their addiction. That is what's better for society. And women deserve to be treated the exact same way. You figure out why it is that they were seeking abortions in the first place and you help them. You help them by not voting down all of the bills that many Republicans in Texas right now are voting down. You help them so that they can actually afford to have their child and they actually have a choice, because I can tell you that this is not even a pro-life, pro-choice issue. This is a no-choice issue for many women. But we don't fight that by simply prosecuting them and sending them to jail. We fight that by helping them so that abortion never has to be an option for them dummies.